Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Foots the King. I got to tell you, whenever she graces the screen, it's a blessing, man. Two Eye, she does the work. She is one of the pioneers in the cowboy scene as far as like women really breaking down film, really watching film, really holding it down, man. I think she does a great job. Two Eye, Iisha Morrison. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. Just trying to get back in the swing of things. I feel like I went a little hush hush for a while because I got some other things I'm working on investment,
Hmm.
things like that. And this work is tiring. You know what I'm saying? But like I just felt like I need to get back working and get involved. So I'm excited for us to talk today, Brody.
Yeah, and we know, hey, and we know, obviously, we know that George Pickens is now a Cowboy, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk
Yeah.
about the draft. We'll kind of, we haven't, I think we spoke in spaces, but we haven't talked on like this platform. And obviously, I'll share your YouTube, so you guys make sure that you guys follow to Iisha Morrison on YouTube, on Twitter. She's a great follow. Also, she has some things in the works. Now, we're not going to speak on them just yet, but once it gets pen to paper, y'all, she out of there. And I'm thankful to call her a friend. Like I said, me and Two Eye was down at the Senior Bowl kicking it. Like it's really my dog. Really, we up there doing the work, pen to paper, writing down notes.
in the in the sun. It was
Hey,
hot. It was
getting
hot
burnt
in the
up.
bleachers. It was hot in them bleachers.
Hey, I'm like, yo, Two Eye, she was on the move. Her dog had water. We was rolling. Me, you, and Zach.
Bro, it was hot, bro.
It was big hot. So this is what I want to do. We're gonna start this off. I'm gonna play you a clip. This was from CD Lamb and George Pickens this weekend at Kyler Murray's a softball charity softball game. So I want to play you a clip and then I want your thoughts on it.
Oh, no, we both won.
Yeah.
It ain't no A, B, none of that. It's one. You look over there, you see one. You look over here, you see another one. So do what you got to do with that.
All right. So that was CD Lamb basically talking about there is no A, B. You heard him. See, it's I'm a one, he's a one. Two Eye says what to that?
It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah.
What? Cause CD know what we know. CD know how teams are preparing for them. CD know that we saw an uptick in too high shell last year, and that is probably going to be something that continues. CD know that there's always a safety rolling over to be paying attention to him. So with this George Pickens pickup, this is going to open up y'all nephew.
It's okay. If you want to be a part of the show, it's all good. It's all good. Just put him on the screen.
But nah, man, it's about time. It's about time that Dallas took getting CD a running mate seriously. And I think this is long overdue. When you look across the NFL, we're seeing tandems now at the wide receiver position. Some of the best teams have tandems, whether that's between a receiving type tight end and a wide receiver or two wide receivers. And it really does stress a defense. And don't know how to run the ball too, because then you really are a trifecta. So for me, and then also too with CD Lamb, he means that. Like he means like, don't get me wrong, CD Lamb and George Pickens are two people that want the ball, but I think they both understand what is going to be necessary to win games at this point. And it is going to take some selflessness. And I think CD really does possess that. So I'm happy to hear. What about you? What you got?
Well, before we get to my thoughts too, you're the guest, so I want to give you the floor. You being in that locker room and having a relationship with these guys, that's the beauty of being able to get you on the show. Like, does CD mean it? Because you have that insight as far as like knowing the players and like them knowing you, and you do a great job of knowing the psychology. I'll say this, something that you have said, now everybody's talking about it, but you were one of the first people to say it. I won't say the situation, but I remember you telling me about a player's maybe mental. And so I think that's a niche that you bring. Do you think CD really means it? Because I do, but you know the player.
Yeah. So really cool. So I don't think that I'm gonna be in the locker room moving forward for several different reasons. It's no huge deal, but they're condensing, and this is across the league. They're condensing
Yeah.
the amount of people in the locker room. I respect it. I understand it, given, this is something that the players want to feel protected, given some of the stuff that's happened in the league throughout, even in different situations. So, but I was grateful for my time in the locker room. And one thing that me and CD had is every week I would come up to him and I would be like, you see that nickel corner don't like to do no hand fighting at the line. He'd be like, you be on your stuff. You be what? Like, so every week I would come to him and be like, hey man, that dude can't run with you. And he'd be like, I know. Like that was our relationship when I was with him. And he would tell me things on film or how he recognized things. So it goes back to my original point, is that CD is someone that is in his study. CD is someone that picks up tendencies. And he also understands how easy it was for people to game plan against him. So I think, although he is still, and I want to say this, him and Pickens are going to want the ball. They're both going to want the ball. Do not be surprised at some point in time during this season that there is some discrepancies about the ball. Now, I do think that Clayton Adams does a good job with distributing across the offense. But I will say, yeah, like they're both going to want the ball. But I think CD just sees the bigger picture. I think he sees the bigger picture here. And that's why he was saying this is a 1-1, because he understands that's how defenses are going to look at it. And that's what he's saying to me. I think that's what he's saying.
Spot on too. I think that I wanted your opinion because I think, first of all, it matters to me. I think it matters to these listeners. But let's be real. Like, CD's not dumb. CD's not, and we do this thing in sports where it's like we overanalyze. This isn't one of those situations where we have to do that. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you speaking on the player because you have a relationship, that's dope. But like, even in that, so many times I've heard throughout George Pickens being signed, well, how does it work? Well, how does George Pickens act when he's not getting the ball? Guys, do you realize what George Pickens is coming from? Do we realize like where he's coming from quarterback wise, scheme wise, help wise? He didn't have a number. I don't even think, Deontay Johnson, maybe, but like, did he have a real running mate? No, he did not. Did they have another real piece on that offense? No, they did not. The Steelers have been bottoms in metric wise in pretty much every offensive metric. And I got a few stats that I just wanted to let people know, like, yo, like when we say, and when people say he's dealt with literally some of the worst quarterback play, it's literally been some of the worst quarterback play. So I went this weekend and I watched every one of his explosive 15 yards. I did 15 yards or more, but 10 was really air quote an explosive play. But I watched all of his catches from 2023. Mm-hmm. And in 2023, 36.8% of the passes thrown to Pickens were inaccurate or off target. And so for comparison, the league average was 22% for number one receivers, AKA he was never getting accurate thrown balls his way. Like, they just weren't happening. And then when you go to 2024 and you cut the tape on, he's open. Russ is throwing the ball late. He's throwing these rainbow balls, or
it's low.
Yeah, it's low, or he just doesn't give him a chance over the middle of the field like at all. And the one of the misnomers, and I want to show this play real quick. One of the misnomers for me, is he can't separate. Like, that has been one of those things to me that I'm just like, that's just false. So again, I went through all his targets and his big plays, and these aren't like the 5-yard curls or, quick games and stuff like that. These are his big plays. So this play right here, this is against Denzel Ward. So this is a better corner in the NFL. And I want you guys to just see the separation at the top right there. Boom, boom, press away. Like, that's NFL separation. Not to mention, watching that clip of him and CeeDee Lamb, you see his size, but this is actual separation on this like bang 8 end breaker type vibe, this route. And I'm just like, where are we getting these narratives that he can't separate?
Well, I think that I want to interject, unless you
no, keep going.
Well, I do think that we are getting to a place too with all the metrics and the measurements and all this stuff, that people hyper fixate on what separation is and not knowing what separation is.
Talk about it too.
It's not. First of all, this ain't college. First of all, you're not gonna see guys wide open in this type of game. Like, that's just not how that works. Now, it is up to the OC to scheme guys open in certain instances, but if it's mano, listen, we more corners come into the league being able to play press man than zone for a reason. This is what this game is now. And so to me, I think that people are misconstruing separation and not looking at like resistance. Does it make, I mean, if that is even the right word to use, like, I can see it. If a guy has a step on a guy, he is separated.
He's NFL open.
He's NFL open. And it's up to the quarterback to be able to place that ball correctly. Guys are not going to be wide open. This is just not how this game works. So when I hear people talk about separation, because we heard this conversation even with Ted as well, right? Like him, and I'm sitting up.
Good one, too. Good one.
Catch radius and all that stuff comes into play when you talk about separation and length and all that stuff. And so, yes, if a guy beats a guy off the line, if the guy, unless the corner is just has crazy good recovery, he is separated.
Hello.
So I it's weird to me, and I think that this also comes because of how we've seen offensive schemes evolve. So we do see a lot of broken plays now. We see a lot more guys wide open and stuff like that now in this league because of some of the intuitive ways that people are play calling. But don't get it misconstrued. Guys are still separating. It just don't look clear to you because you are not a player or you're not someone that's played the game. But to a good quarterback, he just needs a step. He just needs an inch. And that's all that a lot of receivers are going to get in this game. So,
my girl done brought her fastball. Come on now. Come on, I don't play with me like this. Let's go.
I'm learning the game, bro. I'm just
learning, you know it, and like what you said. But even then, like, even here, that's separation. I mean,
that's separation. What y'all talking about? He's on his hip. He's beat.
Yeah, you want to know what's crazy? When I really cut the film on, I saw a guy who had great footwork for his height,
He has burst. He has a lot of burst out of his releases. Like, you see when he puts it, and that's what you showed, is when he puts his foot in the ground, he's putting his foot in the ground with authority.
Come on, Tua.
If you're backpedaling, if you're unsure, he is going to go past you. I mean, I know that we look at him as like a 9-ball guy and things like that, but I would like to see him. I would like to see him get some slants. I would like to see him get involved like there. I would like to see some Texas routes from him. I would like to see him attack in the middle of the field because I think his quickness off the line it's very sudden. It's not. I wouldn't say it's quick. It's sudden because there's a difference between suddenness and quickness to me. So. Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry.
No. I wanted you on here for this reason. You're brilliant when it comes to, explaining these types of things. And this is what you do, and you do it well. And this is why you're on a draft show, and this is why you're all over the place, because you know your stuff. And you're right. And catch radius, you said it. The reason why George Pickens is able to track balls and deep balls and go up and get is because he has such a good big catch radius. Like he's a thin frame guy, but he's very coordinated in his movement. So many big receivers aren't coordinated, or they don't have that subtle foot quickness. And when you hear CeeDee Lamb talk, he's literally excited because players know players, guys know guys. The media, they're gonna make this about George Pickens. Will he be a bad teammate? Will he? CeeDee don't care about none of that. He don't. Like, I'm just being honest with you. He don't care about that. He cares about a guy when he's getting, like you said, a 2-out look, or if they're rotating something or they're rocking and rolling CeeDee's way. Can George Pickens beat that corner on the other side? That's what CeeDee Lamb cares about.
Well, it ain't even. Let me tell you something. It ain't even about him beating them at this point. It's about there being an actual threat to change the picture.
Come on now.
Have to think twice. You have to make some decisions. And like I said, don't let Dallas be able to run the ball too, because then you really cooking with grease. Like,
Come
because
on.
at this point, like that's and I think and I wanted to add this. I did reach out to a scout that I know with the Steelers, ask him a little bit of information about Pickens when this trade happened. Um, every issue that people have had with Pickens, crazy enough, some of the stuff has happened on the sidelines, on the field. From my understanding, this is a guy that is in his film. This is a guy that doesn't miss meetings. This is a guy that is very passionate and does have some maturing to do. I think it's important to remember that these are young men.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think from that scout, a change of scenery, I think is going to be good for him. I really do. So I just wanted to add that like I did reach out to some people about the character, and as far as the study and him knowing the playbook and him being involved, it's there. Now I know a lot of people talk about him taking plays off and his temperament and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not justifying it, but I also understand he knew his situation, and
Yeah.
we just talked about the quarterback play.
Yeah.
And we're not,
So
we gotta stop like dehumanizing these people, because baby, when you go to work, and I mean, even when I wait on tables, when your coworkers getting on your nerves, you might gotta go to the break room for a second and just take a break. These guys can't do that. We looking at them on TV. So I just think sometimes people forget that this is an occupation. So you're gonna have occupational things. You don't like everybody you work with. You don't like everybody you work with. You don't get along with everybody you work with. So this idea that everybody has to get along, it's not even what football is. That's not even what football is. These guys are competitors. So I am looking forward to him maturing here. And I think that it is possible for him to do that, especially since he's happy to be here. So just wanted to add that real quick.
no, you see, I had to stop myself from jumping in. Shut up, because
No, you good?
yes, no, I'm not good. This is what I wanted to hear. That is a gem. That is a nugget. Because when he first signed, I went on a rant about what I did. I went on the Cowboys Collective and I said there are so many, and we can have these conversations on my platform because can't nobody tell me nothing. And the truth is, let me just say this. Let me stop myself. You're right. You're right. There's no one size fit all for these athletes. And I think that's where you do a great job of understanding the psychology of these athletes. And okay, let's talk about the infrastructure of the Steelers. They haven't been all good offensively probably since Antonio Brown was in his prime. Right. Matt Canada, the quarterback play, just the OCs that he's been around, the mindset of we just want to run the ball and sit on the ball. Like the whole thing is like you have a Cane Corso and you putting them in a cage and just keeping them caged. Like George Pickens is an easy 12. What I saw on film, easy with good quarterback play, easily 1,200-yard receiver, easily. But with bad quarterback play, bad schemes, no real offensive structure, no real offensive identity, this is what you get. And like you said, is a 23-year-old wrong for pouting or for no, you shouldn't pout, but he's not a finished product. And again, he's in a atmosphere, like you said, if you have bad coworkers or bad leadership at the top or a head coach who maybe calls you out or does certain things, he shouldn't be acting like that. But I can see why he did act like that. And this isn't giving him a pass for it, but it's having a deeper conversation. Like, bro, look at what he's had to deal with. Quite frankly, since Georgia, because he didn't really have great quarterback play. Well, it's okay quarterback play, but you get my point. This is going to be the best quarterback that he's ever played with. I guarantee you'll see a different George Pickens. All right, we're here for a good time, not a long time. I know you got a lot to do, and you're going to be making your rounds this week. You chilling? Okay. Now we're going back to the draft, and actually somebody asked this question so I got a few questions for you. Somebody asked this question on Twitter, so this will be a good one. But I'm gonna actually we'll do this because we'll end with the question from Twitter. But let's ask this one right now. Okay. So me and you were texting and we were talking about during the draft. We liked Booker, but we were probably on the side of this team needed a weapon. Mm-hmm. And now this team has that weapon because like you said, you're talking literally to CeeDee Lamb about him getting doubled and tripled and all this. So we knew like Ted and certain other players may have been needed to help this Cowboys roster. Now the Cowboys have George Pickens. How do you feel about the draft now? How do you feel about Tyler Booker now? How do you feel about some of the players, and which players did you like that we drafted?
Yeah, so I will say, hold on, well, I want to say this. I do think that Tyler Booker is a weapon in the running.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
obviously not. I do think he is going to prove to be a weapon just because of some of the things I think you can do with bringing him across around the formation and things like that. I'm like, okay, well, and also too the temperament that he brings. Congo.
No, come on. Bring him in the screen. Come on.
No,
This live, I love it.
he's in his kennel and he just doing a fuss. He just turned 10. So he
He getting a little grumpy.
He think he runs something here. So anyway, so I do think that Tyler Booker is a weapon. And I also do believe that I do also believe that with Clayton Adams' system and the way that I think, and that's why OTAs is just going to be so important. And I know we're going to get to that. Mm-hmm. But I do think them going after a first, I didn't like the first round pick offensive lineman. I didn't like it. I didn't.
And you're fine not to, because I was in that same boat.
Because I do think at some point in time we need to nourish the mid rounds and develop these guys and things like that. Now I will say this is a different coaching staff and maybe they feel like they can do that in the future. But I also know that Tyler Booker wasn't just a football player pick. It is a shifting this locker room pick, this temperament pick. This is also, there's like, even down to some of the undrafted free agents, all of them, former captains, all these things. They want leaders and maturity in this room. And Tyler Booker is one of the most intuitive, clean cut, put together players that, from my understanding, has come in this building in a long time. So I think that they also, with him and Tyler Smith, if those are like the foundations, and BB, those like the foundations of your offensive line, you got guys that's not about to do a lot of whining, that's going to hold other guys accountable, and is going to put in the work. So I'll say that about the Booker pick and whatever the case may be. But now I feel better about the draft overall because I think you addressed so many of the things you needed to address. I mean, the Donovan pick, the Donovan Izaraku pick is super. I don't know how underrated it is to you, but when you look at what he can do as a natural pass rusher, and even the fact that he does have some room to develop in playing the run, but it's not nothing crazy. It's like you kind of got the best of both worlds with him. So I felt good about him. Now, the Rebel pick, the cornerback from East Carolina, how did you feel about that pick? Because I think that was the one that really made me be like, if you can hit these three and then you got Pickens out of it, oh, you did something in this draft.
What my girl say, baby. When we drafted Shavon Revel, that was one of those ones. Great pick. And he looks like he's, tea leaves, looks like he's going to be ready sooner than later. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that was a great pick. I think now your draft with Pickens makes more sense than ever. Because it would have been malpractice to go in with just, and we want Jalen Tolbert to take a jump. We want Mingo to make sense, but it would have been malpractice. Now you have a for sure winner on the edge. Now you know that this guy, if nothing else, is going to be a serviceable guard year one, based on the tape, based on his temperament, how he plays. You know that Ezraku is in your rotation at the end. The one in the jackpot could 100% be Savon Rebel, because if he comes in and gives you quality reps early and you win the draft in that way, you cooking with grease. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And if from my understanding, his rehab is going well. Like you mentioned, they think he should be ready by camp. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm really curious of what this cornerback room is going to look like. I think they might give Elam a chance to show what he can do. And if it's not looking pretty, don't be surprised if they bring in some type of veteran guy or something before during or before camp and sometime at some point. But I do think getting him in here and Edge is something that was like a sneaky need that I hadn't really thought. I had thought about it, but I think I hadn't put that much into it. But with getting Dante Fowler back, He's obviously more of a pass rusher. He's not going to do a whole bunch for you in the run, but this is a guy you can bring in on third downs that can win on his own. And obviously that's Eberflus's system. Getting also Digizua back in the interior, I think is a huge deal. I don't know, man. And then is it Jay Tua?
Jay Tua.
Tuau, I think he's going to be important too to what you want to do as far as being able to plug up the middle and have guys be decoys and do what they need to do. So I don't know. The Rebel pick surprised me. I know they're going to get a corner. I wasn't sure about him because of the injury, but I say this with respect, and I hope I don't lose my job. The Cowboys love playing Captain Sabo.
Yeah.
They love to fix if they can fix. If they think they can fix somebody, they going to call them Bob the Builder, and they going to do it.
Yeah.
So, but with Trayvon and us not knowing, I know I've been seeing him working. I know he's taking his rehab seriously. That's good to hear that he's improving. What does this cornerback room look like to you? Who's your starters? Who's your nickel? Because that I'm telling you, man, losing Jordan Lewis, bro, like
that won't hurt. Because is it going to be Izzy? Is it going to be Bland and Rebel and Diggs on the outside? These are things that we don't know. And yes, I'll say it too. I didn't say this. Diggs is taking his rehab serious now, but there have been questions about Diggs, and so great. And I'm gonna tell you what else I'm having him taking his rehab serious. Seeing Savon Rebel get drafted, just being honest, like bringing in that competition. Dallas not playing with you, and they shouldn't be because they paid you. Do your job. Okay, Tua. Let's transition to OTAs, and then I got a question for you, and then I'll let you get out of here.
On the depth chart, they have Israel Mukuamu as a nickel corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he may get the first crack at it, and if it looks to be too much, which good for Izzy. Like let's see Izzy go out there and get a shot, because we saw him do some of that stuff. Dan, what year was that? The year that they went to San Fran and played, and he did a good job. So
it was against the Bucks too, but I do think that depending on that shoulder, I thought that coming out, I thought Kalen Carson was better suited at the nickel to begin with. Now that was pre him getting here. Now I don't know what his confidence level is, because you got to be a confident mom
to play corner,
to play nickel at that.
To play in the secondary, you get beat. You got to. That's the one thing I will give Diggs. He will continue to, go be a ball winner, go do those things, because you're gonna get beat. Bland is the same way. To make a play, you may give up one. That's the position. So yeah, his confidence, I hope it is back. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. What's up?
Okay, OTAs. Give me one or two things you're looking for this week at OTAs.
I'm looking at the running back sets.
Okay, that's a good one.
I'm looking at who's lining up where, how often they're being used, I want to know how they've used some of these guys. Because when you look at the running backs, you got Javonte Williams, who I think is the make or break thing. I think whatever they get from him is going to set up the rest of how this running back room looks. Or if they decide to, go out and pursue another guy later on. I think him coming in is going to be important. I don't even know, and I'm going to be straight with you, I don't even know where Miles Sanders fits, but that's what I'm saying. I want to see with Jadon Blue. Are they using him more in a receiving aspect, or is he taking snaps out the backfield? What's going on with that? Phil Maffa, like those things. But I'm also looking at Hunter Lipke.
Forgotten about man.
Hunter Lipke, we'll see. I want to know if they view him more as in a tight end capacity, because I do think Clayton could get creative and use him as a tight end.
In that way, yeah.
But how many running backs are they really going to carry? Who's going to make the cut? You got a lot of guys that do the same type of things. What does this look like? That's the running back room is something I'm really keeping an eye on. What about you?
You got my mind going, man, because you're right. I mean, when you talk about Hunter, everybody can't go. You talk about Phil Maffa, everybody can't. So no, I think I just did a piece on Javonte Williams, and with him tearing that ACL, I didn't realize just how bad that knee injury was. And he tore his ACL, he tore his LCL. that injury takes about 2 to 3 years to really get back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I also did some work on it within the piece where it's like, you know, it took Connor, what's the running back that they had with the James Conner. I always want to call him Connor's first name. It took James Conner to get with Clayton Adams to be 1,000-yard runner. So him being the O-line coach with Arizona, it was like that's when he really hit, and he was in Pittsburgh for all those years, and that's when he really hit. So I had to stop myself from giving up on Javonte Williams and just saying he could possibly get cut and this, that, and the third. No, Javonte Williams actually does have some skill. When I went back and watched all of his tape this weekend as well. He has some skill, and he's a really good catcher out of the backfield. He had 52 catches last year. And he's going to do something that none of these guys do better than him. He's going to pass pro. He's going to step up and throw his shoulder into a blitzing linebacker and protect Dak. So that's a good one. For me, what am I looking at? I'll be honest. I'm looking at the receiver room. Like, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit. Hey, you jumped off the porch, and I'm going to just say, you know what? We're going to stay on the offensive side of the ball. I just want to see the deployment. I want to see George Pickens catching footballs from Dak. I want to see, okay, now what is this receiver 3 room like? What not room, but what does this receiver 3 battle look like? Mm-hmm. Is it Mingo taking a jump? Is it Tober, who Dak is familiar with? Is it Kevontae Turpin, who is the different flavor of ice cream than what you have in Pickens and CD? Mm-hmm. Are we just getting, is Shotty just going to say, man, to hell with a receiver 3, you getting 1 and 1A, or you getting 1A and 1B, you getting this, you getting that, and everybody else, you get it how you live. I just want the answers, and so that's what I'm going to be watching for.
No, that's exciting. That's exciting to be. I think competition is healthy regardless, man, and somebody going to get pushed. Somebody's going, you can't, with this receiver competition, when you start talking about that 4, 5, 6, maybe, 4, 5, 6, you can't say ouch or nothing during camp, man.
Ooh.
So this is an intricate time for these wide receivers. I will say, if I could say today what I think the wide receiver room's gonna look like, I think it's CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, Mingo, Kevontae Turpin.
And I will be okay with that. The one thing that I will say is 100%, like you just said, let's see who's sitting out of practices. Let's see who getting forgotten, because you get forgotten about in this room, now that you got 2 big dogs, you could be forgotten about for good.
Well, yeah, because a lot of these gentlemen, now I will say getting I think it's, what's his last name? It's Junior
Adams.
I knew it was Adams. Okay, Junior Adams, getting Junior Adams. This is a gentleman that we have seen develop wide receivers.
Yes.
So these guys are going to be getting quality coaching, getting the information that they need. And so I am giving Mingo a chance, though. I'm giving him a chance to see what he looks like with better quarterback play, no different than Pickens. And also, too, with Jalen Tolbert, there should be a lot less pressure off of him. Mm-hmm. If Jalen Tolbert can be a solid 3, which I think he could be, fine. I'm fine with that. Because if you got a 3 that can boogie, you really doing something offensively to me.
Yeah.
So, because most teams only got 1 or 2. So I'm cool with that as well. Hey, listen, another room I'm looking at, linebacker. Because I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, what's happening here?
Yes.
I mean, DeMarvion Overshown, he already told us he built different. He trying to be back before Thanksgiving. He said so we just gonna wait on him. But Maris Leofau, who I think is gonna be your Mike. Does he take a jump this year?
Stay right there.
Okay. Let's talk.
You got him taking a jump. We got a question on Twitter. Who do you have taking a jump? Somebody specifically asked, who does she have two? Who does 2I have taking a jump? So you got Maris as 1. Go back to your linebacker point, but just remember that you had Maris as 1, and then who else do you have taking a jump possible?
Taking a jump?
Yeah.
Oh, this is hard. Can you go first?
Okay. So you were making a linebacker point. That's one that I've really been like, right now, early on, it's going to be Maris and Sanborn to me. Why is Sanborn play? Because he knows the system.
Because he knows the system.
Yep.
The run, hit, top type player, and that's what you need.
So Sanborn going to play because he can do that. Maris is going to play because I think that he showed and earned the right to play. And, with Kenneth Murray, I think that he'll play in spot duty unless he comes in and has an amazing camp. And he does have the athletic traits, but does he have an amazing camp? So, that's an interesting watch too. And then, like you said, corner, like who they run out there early on at corner because Savon Revel won't be ready. It'll literally just be Bland and, name somebody. So who do they play on the outside? Just seeing how everybody lines up will be interesting for me.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's all that you can really take from OTAs. They're not about to be going full speed and all that stuff. But we can look at the lineups. We can start seeing some of the different packages and stuff like that they might have in mind. But with Kenneth Murray, I don't know what's gonna happen here. I don't know what the team feels like about Damone Clark at this point. I do think that he is a gentleman that needed a fresh start to some degree.
Yeah.
I also think that Shamar James could be a really good will. I think one of those guys that is not afraid to play in the box, will come down and tackle, has some coverage ability, let him be free and let him play a little. Like he was someone I had my eye on before the draft. I mentioned him on the draft show. So I was like, oh, they drafted him. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shamar James is a gentleman too that I'm looking at. If the Cowboys want to stay younger, that might work his way into getting some feel at the will position if Kenneth Murray has any type of issues. Because I don't know what to expect from Kenneth Murray. Do you?
No, just a blitzer.
I don't know what to expect from him. I tried to watch some games of him. I was just like, I don't have much to go off of.
Downhill player that needs to be coached by Matt Eberflus. Like that's just what I can say. Like the instincts.
Somebody told me that Eberflus is the linebacker whisperer.
He is. He's had guys like Sean Lee. He's had guys like Darius Leonard in their prime, so he knows what it looks like. And he's going to be that coach that can tell you that one thing to get you to slow down or to get you to stop overrunning plays or to get you to play fits better. So I think that's where, with Kenneth Murray, because the tools are there. Mm-hmm. Like he's built in a lab for sure. But now can he play football the right way?
Yeah. Any offensive lineman you think gonna take a step?
Oh, I'm praying and hoping that it's Tyler Guyton because I've had Tyler Guyton on my mind, and I think that Tyler Guyton is one of those ones that he has all the tools, and I've just been constant that tackle is not a position that you just come into the league. We saw Tyler Smith do it, but Tyler Smith is a future Hall of Famer in my book. Like he's one of those guys you could just tell. But you could be a good tackle and develop at your pace. We can't push these guys to be all pros year one. He only played 9 games at tackle at Oklahoma. Yeah. So, I think Tyler Guyton.
You've gotten better at the coaching position.
Yeah, you have better coaches. Let's be real.
I was about to say, I think also too, you got a staff. Like when I saw Dallas bring in Clayton Adams, and then when I saw them pick up the gentleman from, hold on, let me see, I have it.
Connor Riley
from Kansas State. I started saying to myself, oh, you guys have a plan.
Yeah.
And I think when there's synergy in your coaching staff.
Great word. Synergy is the word. Yes.
Not a lot of differences in what the goal is. These people want to run the ball and they want to be creative running the ball. And they want to dominate running the ball. And when you mentioned the Cardinals offensive line, need I remind you that the Cardinals were 2nd in rush yards per game, 7th in EPA per rush, 2nd in rushing yards before contact, 9th in success rate, 4th in 10-yard plus runs, and 7th highest in stacked boxes. And they had one first rounder on their offensive line.
Come on. And that's where I think that you are. Like that's where I think that you are too. It's just like, it's like coaching, like, and so that's where we were with, drafting. Now, don't get me wrong, Tyler Booker's here, and I think he's gonna be great, but I'm with you, like, coach some of this up. Because guess what? Tyler Booker gonna have to be coached up. Yeah, like, you're gonna have to coach. And so I think that the one thing I will say is Brian Schottenheimer seems like he knows that, and he seems like he's putting smart people in the room. So
Don't you like him? I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like the first time I had an interaction with him, number one, his pressers. This is someone that loves football and want to teach you. If you don't listen to a Brian Schottenheimer press conference and you haven't learned nothing, you ain't listening. Because when he's asked questions about the game, he wants to talk about the game. Even last year, I had to check myself because I was asking him questions and I was like, that's not what McCarthy said. It's not my business. It's not my business. It's not my business. Because there was a difference in philosophy. If you would listen to Brian Schottenheimer talk about how he wanted to run offense, and you would listen to Mike McCarthy, I'm like, Brian,
what you say, baby?
You talking about baby? You talking about?
Hey, chat, can we get a baby? Come
baby,
on, man. Come on, chat.
You talking about stack formations and secondary motions and stuff, and Big Dog ain't doing none of that. So I already knew that he understood. That's the thing I will say about Schottenheimer. He understands the trends of the NFL, and he's not afraid to follow them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he might be a Steeler. And I like Steelers. Steal something. Do something. Do something, ref. Like, it's fine to be innovative, but be within what the NFL is right now. Sometimes we run into coaches that are so stubborn and stuck in their ways with how they played football 10 years ago. And dog, linebackers is running 4.3s now, my guy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So, yes, but I also, too, another guy, I think Terrence Steele is going to take a jump in this system.
Wow.
I think that this feeds a lot more of what he does well as an offensive lineman. And honestly, being able to Terrence Steele is a guy that's going to have his whiffs, but he can wear on you during the game in the run. Yeah. And I think this scheme is going to allow him to do that, use some of that athleticism, his footwork. He will be a couple years removed from his ACL. That's another thing to add. But also, too, he's the only person on this roster that has played every snap in the last 2 years.
Terrence will have a good year.
I think he's going to be far better in this scheme with this coaching and what they're asking him to do. So he's a guy I'm keeping my eye on too. But
and he played good towards the end of the year last year.
I agree.
Which was very.
Yeah, I think he got his foot in under him and things like that. What about the defensive tackle room? Anything in that room?
With OTAs, it'll be tough because they don't have pads on.
They can't do nothing.
But I will, what I'll be looking at to see, how does Mozzie look physically?
Yes.
Like, does he look like he's holding his weight, which we haven't heard anything. So I'm thinking that he is. How does Jay Toya look physically? And, if all that checks out, just got to wait till we get pads on and just see the scheme. Now, what I will say is this. Talk about Matt Eberflus being the linebacker whisperer. I think that Matt Eberflus also makes it a point to stop the run. And he chokes the run well. So what Matt Eberflus is going to do is find out which 3 tech and 1 tech wants to do their job, and he's going to play those guys. He's not married to Mozzie. He's not married to any of these guys. Whoever's doing their job and doing it accordingly, those will be the guys that play. So, I'm all around excited. And like I said too, I think we'll be able to learn a lot from the skills. What you hit it, the running back position. Yes. Mm-hmm. The receiver position, we'll be able to learn from that. How does Dak look? Is he throwing the ball well? All that type of stuff. If he does throw.
Because that's what I was about to say. We talking about everybody else except for the man that has not played football in a while. And we need to see the quarterback.
Yeah.
We need to see how fluid he's moving. We need to see. I've seen him doing work. I've seen him, but I hope I get the opportunity to ask him about improving his flexibility, what changes he made, things like that. Because I'm not saying that we need him to be a runner anymore, but I still need him to be able to maneuver inside the pocket in the way improvise. You ain't got to take off, big dog. If that's not what you're doing no more, fine. But his ability to improvise within the pocket,
climbing all that,
and climbing and stuff.
Yeah.
We need that. We need that, boss. So we need to see that.
We gotta have it. Too. I mean, it ain't gonna work. You got these new shiny toys, Pickens. You got all this other. I
will say, anybody, all these different surgeons and all this stuff. Somebody tell me how to donate hamstrings. How can we? I'm serious. I'm not. You laughing? But at this point, I think that we've seen soft tissue injuries ruin whether that's college. Lord, you know what? If somebody could donate a hamstring to Steph Curry this last playoffs, you think
Oh
they
man, poor Steph. I know.
whoever figures
I
it
can't.
out,
The game's been so boring without Steph playing.
whoever figures it out, God bless you.
God
If people
bless
can
you.
get their knees done, somebody can donate a hamstring. I'm sorry, not mine because I'm disabled. So but some athletic person can donate. Like, I'm just saying, like, we got to figure this out. Modern medicine is too. We using stem cell research and stuff. You
Come
can't
on, y'all. Take mine, Dak. Dak, you have my hamstring. You take mine.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hey, I run 3 miles a day. They better be 3 every other day. Hey, guys, listen, man. We got to 45 minutes, man, of great stuff with Iisha Morrison. She's going to be making her rounds this week, and she is the GOAT. Like, if you guys aren't following her, if you aren't subscribed to her, you're really missing out. Like I said, this is truthfully my friend. She texts me. We talk about ball, talk about life. She'll hit me. Plus, what you seeing right here? Cool. We talk about the draft. Like, so many people fake do the work. She really does the work. She doesn't do the work later. Like she said, she hit on Shamar James. We've talked about players and guys and this, that, and the third. So, Tua, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. We're gonna talk again. I want to talk again possibly before camp because I know that you'll be doing a lot and you got some things coming down the pipe. But is there anything that you want to add before we jump up out of here?
No, I'm probably gonna upload this to my channel.
Hey,
I'm probably gonna be going live and stuff a little bit more this season and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys. And yeah, we about to go on this break, and then it's gonna be football again, bro. It's about to be here before we know it.
Hey, and we going up when football comes. So as always, guys, thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We are on